It was a hard summer of travel for European airports. Here's why and what you need to know if you go to Europe in the future. Hey there, it's Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with stories about current events and trending topics. Today's episode is number 891. That means the full episode is online at plainenglish.com/891. Coming up on today's episode, if you went to Europe this summer, you might have faced some long lines when you arrived. And even if you didn't go, you probably saw the horror stories on social media. Today, you'll learn what happened and why the lines were so long. When you're done listening, remember we have a quiz and some practice activities at plainenglish.com/891. Let's dive in. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story. This was a tough summer for Europe's airports. Visitors faced long lines, delays of up to 5 hours or more at peak times, and missed connections. Social media lit up with horror stories from frustrated travelers. Summer is peak travel season in Europe, as millions of visitors come from every part of the globe, many of them arriving at the continent's major ports of entry in Paris, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Rome, and others. And this year, they arrived to a new immigration system, the Entry-Exit System, or EES for short. The EES is designed to replace manual passport stamps with a digital record. The goal is to keep better track of who enters, who leaves, and how long visitors stay. It's going to feed a bigger pre-travel authorization system in the future. Here's how it's supposed to work. Foreign nationals arriving for the first time will provide biometric data at new kiosks. Visitors scan their passports, answer a few questions, provide a photo, and have their fingerprints taken on special fingerprint readers. Then, once their travel record is complete, they go through immigration normally. That process takes, on average, 70 seconds per traveler, according to the EU. But things go more quickly on subsequent visits. The kiosks won't require a photo or fingerprints. You'll just scan your passport and go to the immigration officer. The EU estimates this takes 6 seconds. So the first time you go under this new system, 70 seconds. Every time in the future, up to 3 years, just 6 seconds. Not so bad, right? And these are plausible estimates for some people. But a lot of people take longer than 70 seconds. Videos from travel influencers showed the process taking closer to 2 or 3 minutes. EU countries rolled out the new system in April 2026, in time for peak travel season. Things worked well for the first few weeks, but quickly descended into chaos as travel picked up in earnest. Bleary-eyed tourists stepping off their planes at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris were met with an unpleasant surprise to begin their vacations. The airport reported wait times averaging 2 hours, sometimes extending to 4 hours. Major hubs like Zurich, Brussels, and Milan faced crush loads of travelers and had to suspend full processing just to get travelers through immigration. Portugal brought in its National Guard to help manage crowds at the beginning. The delays caused ripple effects through the system as flyers missed their connections and had to be rebooked. Airlines petitioned the EU to roll back parts of the program, but got no relief. The EU did allow airports to temporarily suspend biometric data collection, but only for 6 hours at a time after crowds had grown to be unmanageable. When that happened, immigration officers registered travelers manually, which was only a little bit faster than the kiosks. The root causes of the delays were a little different across the continent. In some places, the kiosks were glitchy and crashing. In others, the staff were confused and sending people to the wrong lines. To make matters a bit more confusing, each airport handles its signage and lines differently. Not all airports had enough employees and adequate signage to help travelers through this system. What's more, some countries add their own questions to the kiosk, delaying processing. France, for example, asks if visitors have at least 66 euros per day of their vacation or a credit card. They also ask if you have travel insurance. Not sure why. But a large reason for the delays was unavoidable. Almost everyone arriving this year had to go through the long biometric process. Few travelers were eligible to go through quickly since the system was so new. The kiosk system also has a built-in flaw. Remember that returning visitors don't need to have their photos and fingerprints taken. Their process takes just 6 seconds. But at many airports, they have to go to the very same kiosks as everyone else. So returning travelers who just need a quick scan are stuck in long lines as hundreds of first-time travelers struggle with the questionnaire and the camera. To address this, some airports are rearranging their lines to allow pre-registered travelers to skip the long kiosk lines. But this only adds to the confusion for occasional leisure travelers. What worked in one airport might not work on another trip to a different airport. In the face of the bad publicity and pleas from the airlines, airports, and member countries for relief, the EU stood firm. The new entry-exit system is an important part of the EU's strategy for border security. For years, the EU operated with an outdated system that struggled to spot forged passports and didn't reliably track people who overstayed their 90-day limit. So even though the travel industry desperately wanted relief, the EU said no, you have to learn to live with the EES. Now, this new system is the precursor to a much wider technology change coming in the future, the ETIAS. Europe loves its acronyms. This is a pre-travel screening process. When it's implemented, airline passengers will fill out a form before boarding a flight. If they don't pass, they won't be allowed to board. The rollout of this bigger system was scheduled for 2026, but has been delayed until mid-2027 due to the problems experienced this year. I went to Europe in May, so it was right after the rollout, but before peak travel season started. And when I went, I didn't know anything about this. The line wasn't that long for me. To be honest, I don't even remember doing the biometrics in Amsterdam. I probably did, I just don't remember. When I get off the plane, I just do what I'm told. After 8-9 hours in the air, no sleep, jet lag, I'm not paying close attention. I just do what they tell me. The thing that got me this year is that I forgot there was an exit immigration check from Europe. Now, that's not new. I just forgot about it. Most countries, they don't make you go through immigration when you leave, but Europe does. So I had a connection in Frankfurt, and I was enjoying a leisurely coffee with an hour before my connecting flight to Chicago, and I sauntered toward my gate only to find a long exit immigration line. And that took almost 45 minutes. I just barely got to my gate before the door closed. So, lesson learned, if you're going to Europe, they promise a fast immigration utopia. Maybe it will arrive someday, but it's not here yet. Plan for some extra time when you get there and when you leave. All right, that's it for us here at Plain English. This was episode number 891, so you can find the transcript, quiz, and exercises at plainenglish.com/891. That's all thanks to JR, the producer. We'll be back on Thursday with an expression and Monday with a new story. See you then. Listen up if you speak Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, or Turkish. One of the most frustrating things about listening and reading in a second language is being confused by unfamiliar words or phrases. When you listen to Plain English, or when you read the transcript, you probably encounter some words you don't know. When that happens, you have a few options. You can stop the audio, go look up the definition, then return to the episode, find your place, and press play again, but that's exhausting. Or you can just skip it and be confused. That's no fun either. But what if you could see the translation of the word into your language instantly without having to stop the audio, without having to look anything up? Well, you can at plainenglish.com. For each episode, we translate about 100 words and phrases from English to 9 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, German, French, Italian, Japanese, Polish, and Turkish. and we highlight those words in blue. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the highlighted word, and you'll see the translation instantly. It works great on mobile too. It really makes listening a lot more satisfying, and it's a great way to expand your vocabulary in English. The best way to see these translations is to sign up for a free 14-day trial at plainenglish.com. During your trial, you can read as many transcripts as you like, all with the translations into your language. So sign up for your free trial today at plainenglish.com.